This is FanSpeak, a weekly live show where the fans of comics and its community are our guests. Welcome to the show, everybody. We got a great one for you today. My name is Chester C. Busby III, and first thing we want to talk about today is the art contest that we're going to be having coming up. And we've been teasing about this here for about a week, but we're going to lay it out to you what we're going to do today. And Denali's going to help me with that. So Denali, we're going to do an art contest, and what is the big prize for it, man? Why don't you tell everybody?
So the winner of the contest after a month, we will actually pay to advertise that on Alternate Comics for the December releases for them. We're going to pay for a full page in the comic book lines for them.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the contest for you all to create a FanSpeak logo and a mascot for FanSpeak. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that logo and we're going to put it as a full page ad in Alternate Comics. So the winner of the contest will actually have their art in a comic book. How cool is that? We think that's a great idea, and we hope everyone gets excited about it and shares it out. In order for that to happen, in order to have more people in here to talk about this, I want you all to do me a favor. Make sure you click that like button. I want you all to subscribe, please. And we also need you to share it out. Go down to that share button and share it out and tell everyone what's going on. And, of course, very shortly here in a moment, we're going to start speaking to our guest, who is an absolute legend in the industry, Mr. Art Thibert, and we are extremely excited to have him here. We're going to get that to that in one moment. So, as far as the fan art contest goes, just make sure you go down and subscribe to the Facebook page for FanSpeak and submit your art. Now, Denali's going to set up a specific link for it, but you can put it anywhere you want, and we'll organize that. So, get your art ready. Tell everyone who is an artist, and we'll have a vote for it here at the end of the month. I think we're going to go either 2 to 4 weeks. We're not sure exactly yet, but maybe it'd be fun to have a final on the Halloween or something. But please get involved in that, and we want you to get involved in everything else as well. Speaking of art, go ahead and I'm going to show you something here. We've been asking you guys to put your art in. And we have a couple of submissions, so let's take a look at them. Now,
are we looking at? Oh, do we?
Yeah, we are. We have them coming up here, and here we have one, and this is a raven. I am sorry, Pope, from Joseph Tran. It's a nice looking piece right there. I like it. He's got some skills going on.
I was wondering, how was that a trans raven for a minute?
Booster.
They're all going to be ravens. I promise you. It's all going to be ravens.
Knock it off there. All right, be nice. Be nice. All right. I like it, actually. It's a nice piece. And then we have another one sent in from Bethany, and she's on many of the streams. I've spoken to her as well. She's a really nice lady, and she's trying to work her art. And I thought this was interesting because she took a picture of Rogue, and she has blocked it out, and she's trying to work it out in quadrants here. I've never seen anyone do that, but maybe that's a standard technique I don't know about. We'll have to ask Mr. Thibert about that later. But there's a couple pieces of art that have been submitted. So, guys, submit your art. We'll show it on the FanSpeak here. But also, think about what is the image of FanSpeak? What do we want the logo to be? We're not giving you any parameters at all, everybody. Just put forward what you think FanSpeak should look like, and we'll have a vote for it.
I think Booster Gold would be very good.
Of course you think Booster Gold would be very good.
Yeah,
all right.
So does Kinsey.
No, I think we know who the real mascot is.
All right.
And if you send it over Twitter, make sure to hashtag it, do the hashtag of FanSpeak art contest so we can find it easily as well.
Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you very much. All right. Let's move on and introduce all the guests we have in here today. First, we're going to start off with, as we've already been speaking to him, Denali. Go ahead and say hi to everybody, man.
Hey, gang. Hey, everybody. Let's talk some comics.
All right, we have Booster.
Hey, lads, how we doing?
All right. We have, of course, Pixel Trader.
Hey, hey, nice to see everyone tonight.
We have Pope Fire. How you doing, Pope?
Greetings.
Okay. Of course, the mighty wrench of Ethan Van Sciver is here, Mr. Thundaro. Hello, sir.
Hello, hello.
All right. And we have a couple of special guests as well, and I'll get to our chairman in a moment. Of course, we have Mr. Art Thibert.
Hello, let's talk some comics.
Absolutely, sir. And would you please introduce your guest that you brought with us today?
Okay, this is my co-writer on Black and White, amazingly talented. She's not just a writer, but she's an artist as well, as Taylor Grosso. And for the last 5 years, she has assisted me on most of our DC projects. So this is Taylor, and tell them some of the projects that you've worked on with me, Taylor.
Thanks, Art. Hi, guys. We've worked on everything from, I think I started off on Hawkman with you.
New 52 Hawkman?
New 52,
Oh, wow.
and then, yeah, and then we went through Batman all the way to Super Sons. It's been a while.
Well, I think you got thrown in the deep end on Teen Titans, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So she's been with me for 5 years. So for the last 5 years, all the DC stuff that I've been associated with, Taylor's pretty much assisted me on the backgrounds.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So a protege, maybe?
A protege, and we also write together. So we've been creating properties together. And so our newest one is Black and White that we're going through Indiegogo on.
Awesome. Yes, and our moderators are down there, and they're putting that link up, everybody. So if you want to go check out Mr. Thibert's Indiegogo, Black and White, please do so. How's that going, by the way?
Oh, it's going great. We just today, as a matter of fact, hit a major stretch goal of 22 grand. So we just released the Stick It to the Bots sticker as the stretch goal. So what that is Taylor and I, we put a Kickstarter together last year. It was for my art book.
That's right.
So one of the character on the cover of the art book is White from Black and White. So we thought it would be cool as a stretch goal there to do a Stick It to the Bots sticker. And so we never got that far with it. So we thought we would try to do a sticker again for this one. So we're really, really happy that we were able to get to that point. So
A sticker, 2 campaigns in the making.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we just thought it was funny because it's it's a sticker and it's called Stick It to the Bots. Get it?
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank both of you for being here. It's really great to have you. Well, of course.
Let me back up for just a minute. I just want to
Sure.
thank everybody. I didn't get a chance. Thank everybody for supporting, and thanks to you guys, all you guys too, because I see your names a lot in the chats and stuff like that. So thank you guys for supporting Black and White and Taylor and I.
Oh, no problem. We're happy
You
to do
guys
so.
are the best.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I've been enjoying the hack chats that you've been doing, and actually the portfolio. I've been learning a lot
Oh yeah.
with your inputs and everything. So that's been pretty amazing right there.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Well, that's why we're doing it. Thank you guys.
Excellent. All right. Well, we have one more person here sitting up here, and we cannot forget to introduce our chairman, Mr. DeWolf. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Chester, and fans, and to the rest of the panel, and to our illustrious guests.
Illustrious, yes.
Oh.
Sort of. We'll play on words
Thank
there.
Hey, and if I knew there was going to be another one introduced, I wouldn't have talked that long. So I apologize.
Oh, that's all right. No problem.
Well, really, the time has come for a little soul searching as we tackle a subject that concerns us all.
Uh-oh.
Years ago, some people looked down their noses at those who created or read comic books. Comic books were thought of in the same light as we think of fast food today. They were perceived as light entertainment with no real nourishment. Even today, I'll occasionally hear someone give comics a bad rap, usually someone who hasn't read them in years. Well, in case you encounter the same type of of comments, here's a little something you can run past your critic. What are comics? They're stories, told in words and pictures. Are some not as well written as others? Well, perhaps. There's also novels, plays, movies, which aren't as well written as others. But are some comic books written with great skill and integrity? Of course. Are some beautifully illustrated? Just one moment. Just take a look. Are they worthwhile? Bet on it. Since when has the written word coupled with illustrations not been worthwhile? Now, here's the clincher. Let's say that Michelangelo and Shakespeare were alive today and collaborate on a comic book. People would fight for a copy, right? Obviously, there's nothing wrong with telling a story using script and illustrations. Just as with any other art form, everything depends on doing it well. But that is what Stan Lee was saying in September of 1989. What are the fans saying? Welcome to FanSpeak.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is very inspiring, and we all love comic books here, and we hope the whole world does as well. We have our guest on here, and so we're going to jump right into that. We'll get to the news and our other marketing topic a little bit later, but we want to get right in here and talk to them. So, Mr. Thibert.
Yes.
We are very happy to have you here today, and I just wanted to show everyone something before we start talking to you. Now, like I mentioned to you before, I think we came on, I actually have some of your comic books, and I think many of us actually do. And I have something here that I want to show the chat. Now, guys, take a look at this.
Oh man, it's gonna hurt. I know it's gonna hurt.
No, sir, it's not going to hurt at all. Now, take a look at this, guys. This is a list of books that Mr. Thibert has done. Now, look at this. I'm just going
Mamma
to
mia.
scroll on. Now, like I mentioned to you, this one down here a little bit in Humanoids, I actually own that one, and I bought it at the time. Guys, just take a look at this. I'm going slow now. Okay. Let's go a little bit faster. Checkmate. I have a bunch of those. Batman,
I own the
Superman.
Teen Titans ones.
Yeah, let's go a little bit faster. How long is this going to go on for? Look at this. Look at
We're
this.
in the early 90s now. Yeah.
Look at this, guys. Look at this nonsense. You can't even see it. It's just ridiculous. How many things have you made, sir? I have a question, and each person here is going to ask you a question. My question is this. What have you not drawn, sir?
I don't have a really. There's a couple titles that I would love to work on and that I haven't yet. And I do not have a good run on Hulk for Marvel, and I do not have a good run on the Avengers for Marvel. So those would be like two icons at Marvel that I would love to do. And then over at DC, I do not have a Justice League run, and I do not have a Wonder Woman run. So I've done like issues here and there, but nothing like really significant. So those would be the two from each company that I would love to, do or work on.
So you measure in runs, not single issues. Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, look at that. I mean, if I didn't.
And it's still going, guys. It's still going. I mean, look at it. This is an impressive body of work. I mean, it's and of course the recent stuff you were doing over there with the Super Sons is really great. Love that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we did the first. Well, we ended the ongoing run, and so then we did the first 3 issues of Super Sons. What was the title, Taylor? It had
The Adventures of Super Sons.
Adventures of Super Sons. That's it. Thank you.
That was a good one.
We're still going. We're still going.
We are still going. Yes, we are.
Well, you know what?
Going.
Thanks to you guys and all the readers out there.
There it is.
Since I started in '84, I really started kind of in '84. So it says '86, but my professional career being paid in comics was in '84. I haven't stopped. I've worked every month since I started in this business, and that's not even hyperbole. I've worked every month since I started 30 plus years ago. I've been very, very fortunate, and people like yourselves have supported me over that time. And that's the only reason I'm still here is because of the support, and that I just don't know how to stop, I guess.
Well, we're happy you don't. You have a really amazing artistic style. I've always enjoyed it, and I know everyone else here does as well. And I don't want to hog up all the time, so we're going to have all the guests here ask you a question, if you don't mind. Let's go ahead and let's start with Booster. You ready, Booster? You got a question for Art
I'm
Thibert?
ready. Well, I had notes, but I've just got squirts written over and over again. So
Oh my God, is that a harken back to the taco stuff?
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, thanks for that. Image.
Hey, you know what? That wasn't even hyperbole. That actually does happen.
It does. Yeah.
That food, I don't know. I think it's the sauce or something, man. It just goes right through me, and it's not
So,
pretty.
I guess I'll give you a more generalized question then. So, when did you notice things getting so crazy, and what made you want to come over to Comicsgate?
That is the loaded question, right?
Yeah.
I think
It's
it's a trick question. I work for DC. Ha ha. Yeah. No. Do you work for DC? Booster?
No.
Is that your real name?
Oh shit.
I
Oh,
found
swear
you out.
jar. I caught that.
no.
Anyway, 20
Swear
bucks
jar.
for me, baby. All right, sorry, go ahead, Mr. T-Bag. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Your swear jar is $20?
Yes, it is.
Gosh. I'll make sure I keep it civil. I heard a coin. That's not $20.
That's Pixel. He's helping us out. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, I got to remember the question. The question is why? Why did I come and why did I leave? Okay, so I think what it was is just being on social media and just having to bite my tongue and not say how I feel or how I think. And not that I'm overly political or that I have, a bunch of radical ideas or anything like that, but I just noticed that it seemed like if I said something simple, and I'm not saying I did vote for Donald Trump, but if I said something simple like I voted for Donald Trump, I would be crucified by my peers.
Well, we saw Mitch Breitwise. You could say something as benign as "Let's give Donald Trump a chance," and you can get absolutely crucified.
Right. Well, I'll just here's my story, and this is nothing compared to that. But after the elections, I mentioned just on a Twitter, it was a joke. It was just a joke. I thought it was hilarious. If you went to a comedy club and it was a different time, everybody, this was a well-crafted joke as far as I'm concerned. You would have laughed your butt off. But I wrote like the funniest part or the most interesting part about Trump winning the elections, or I think I said the funniest part about Trump winning the election was to watch all the precious snowflakes melt. And so I wrote that, I put that out there, and I thought it was obviously a joke, right? I mean, you guys laughed. It's an obvious joke. And so, oh my gosh, I had friends that I've known for 25 years say that's insensitive. How dare you refer to them as precious snowflakes? And so then I just started thinking, like, what kind of thin skin exists out there? Like, these are friends I've had for 25 years that are saying, how dare I say that? And then I started thinking, do they see themselves as precious snowflakes? When did this happen? You know what I mean? Like, when did people identify with being a precious snowflake? And so,
I mean, it sounds like they have no self-awareness.
right. Like, that's like calling somebody, like a guy, a wimp or something like that. I mean, it's just not, like, I wouldn't identify with that. I wouldn't go, yeah, I'm a wimp. How dare you call me a wimp?
As a wimp, I'm very offended by that.
Exactly. Like, it just was kind of weird to me. So that was my early warning call there. And so then Taylor and I listened to a lot of podcasts and stuff like that. And so we started listening to like Zach. And at first we were just really entertained. And then it started becoming like, I started connecting some dots with the way my world was, the way comics were and the people I knew in the industry and things like that. And so I started thinking, well, yeah, maybe some of these things are true. Not that I agree with everything that Zach says and stuff like that, but there was enough there. And so I just thought, like, it's a great platform. There's obviously an amazing fan base. You guys are proving it right here. So I thought Taylor and I had been playing with some creator-owned ideas, not just Black and White, but some others. And we had already been gearing up to do Black and White as a Kickstarter, since we have 2 other books that we've done on Kickstarter. So then Mike Miller's a friend, and Ethan Von Sciver's a friend, and so they just said, hey, why don't you try coming over here? So, you know, one thing led to another, and so that's why we eventually came over here. And I really do, honestly, it sounds like I'm brown nosing, but I like the fan base. You guys not only talk the talk, but you walk the walk. Like, you don't just talk about it or say, this comic's okay, or this, you guys are spending money. You guys are actually out there. You're talking about it, and you're spending money, and I like that. I mean, not just the money thing, but you know what I mean. Like, you
Very
guys
supportive.
yeah, you're very supportive with this stuff, and I noticed, like, when I talk creator-owned properties with some of my more like guys that are doing comics and mainstream fans and readers, they don't seem to get behind it as much. They seem like, oh, you're gonna do an indie project. Oh,
There's no
whatever.
enthusiasm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it looks like they're still in the mindset of the 90s where you're selling 7 million copies when, and before the DC 10,000, what they're doing right now, that would have been just cancellation right there. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I think the market has shifted, and also I really believe in the indie spirit. I broke in the independence. That's why that 86. It was more like 84. I worked for Renegade Press and stuff like that previously, and my heart was always there. And I'm just hoping that people like yourself and this fan base will support what we're doing, because I would like to stay here, to be honest. I really like the climate. I like the people. And I've said it before, on Ethan's thread and other people's, that this really reminds me of the early Image days, which I was part of.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, this has got that kind of energy. It's got that kind of enthusiasm, and it's got that kind of talent coming out and creating new properties. And that's awesome. It's an exciting place to be.
Yeah, it is. It is extremely awesome. Before we move on to the next guest here to ask you a question, I just wanted to pick up something here from the chat. Sierra Whiskey, who is someone I've been trying to get on the show. Sir, please come and join us. He's everywhere, and we love Sierra Whiskey. He says, Art, I just bought your Rogue from Drawn and Quartered from your site. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Booster, for your question. Let's go ahead and move on. And Pope Fire, why don't you go ahead and ask Mr. Thibert a question?
And you're sure I can't just use my generic Titans one?
No.
All right. Well, I saw that you've both done some Teen Titans books, and I'm a huge, probably really obsessive Teen Titans fan. I've actually bought every Teen Titans comic except for the New 52, like a handful of the New 52 ones. Like who? Can I just ask the generic one and then move on to the other question?
Yes, go ahead. All
right, who is your guys' favorite Teen Titan, and why is it Starfire?
And why is it Starfire?
Starfire is my favorite Teen Titan, actually.
And I will support you in everything you do now.
Okay.
Please do not encourage her. Please do not encourage her.
Starfire is my favorite too. Did you see in the Drawn and Quartered we drew Starfire?
Yes, yeah. They said I rigged it, but I own the most popular Starfire groups, so I just got them to vote.
Okay.
Yeah, we also drew the fan edition, and I did a pretty spectacular piece myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have a little wall of Starfire behind me. So.
Yeah, no, I'm a big Titans fan. In the day, when I was working on X-Men, DC was kind of wooing me to come over to DC, come back to DC. And so one of the ways they did that is they had proposed a Nightwing miniseries for me to draw and write. And so my wife and I, believe it or not, if you look deep enough, there is some of the stuff that exists in the fan archives that I did. We did write a treatment for it. Oh, you know about this? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I mean, you did a Nightwing pinup with Starfire in it, and she looks really. I am so sorry, it's storming.
Oh, that's
yeah, you did a Nightwing pinup that I've been trying to own for a while.
Yeah, I did a retail poster, and then we did a inset poster, I think, in one of the Titans books, and then I think there's some trading cards or something that have Nightwing and Starfire on them, and it was going to be centered on Nightwing and Starfire.
Yeah. It was after their wedding, before it got canceled and stuff.
It was before the wedding. It was actually
before the wedding.
this series was going to be the proposal for them to get married. So the outcome of the miniseries was going to be that Nightwing proposes to Starfire, and I had the blessing from Lin Wein and Marv Wolfman, who were the big Titans guys at the time. So it was going to be big, but a series of things didn't fall into place. Oh, that sounds cool, though.
I am so sorry about that.
No, that's
but actually, Pope, that question actually was answered very well. So we'll take that as your question.
sorry, I go on forever. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's my job, right? Before we go to the next person, let me go over here chat, and we have a comment here from March Hare. He says that indie comics have come a long way too. It's not Xerox copies hand stapled together anymore. He's right. That's right. And we also want to get March Hare on here one day. Sierra Whiskey's talking about he's got work and stuff. He is at a super secure aerospace facility. Okay.
Ooh.
He's a rocket scientist.
Well, hey, Sierra, I see your name all the time in the chats and stuff, so thanks.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this is someone you probably already know. We know you know, because he's the one that got you on here today, and we're very, very happy he did. Pixel Trader, man, go ahead and then ask Mr. Thibert a question, man.
Matt, I had so many questions, I wasn't sure which one to go with, so I'm just going to say, when you rock and roll all night, how are you still able to party every day?
I do not know, but it's a damn good song, isn't it?
That does not sound like a sustainable lifestyle.
I think you're making reference to the Kiss Corner, which we're going to do another chat tomorrow.
Tomorrow, that's right.
We're going to have Kevin Conrad. So if you guys are big comic book fans, we're having Kevin Conrad, who did the Psycho Circus comics with Angel Medina.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually used to do some Kiss covers in my band years back. Yeah, Kiss is awesome.
What'd you play? What instrument?
Oh, I'm a saxophone player and a vocalist.
Oh, nice.
Wait a minute, you were a sax player in a Kiss cover band?
Well, no, at that time we had more of like a rockabilly type band, and we did some Kiss stuff with. There was a tribute band here in Japan that was quite amazing, and we did some like mixed shows with them, and we did more of a rockabilly type of stuff, and we did some Kiss covers with them.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome to hear a rockabilly version of like some Kiss songs. Which were the Kiss songs?
Oh, we did. What's that one? 16 and.
Christine 16,
yeah, Christine 16, and we did New York kind of what is it, New York mood or
Groove?
Back in the New York groove, yeah.
Back in the New York groove, and we did of course the one you guys are just talking about, but it was a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, rockabilly Kiss, man, that's the way to go. All right, well that's a cool question, Pixel. Thanks, man. All right, let's move on. Hey, Denali, ask a question here, man.
How was it working with Neil Gaiman's and other on the Vertical Winter's Edge 98? I believe you were the inker on that.
Oh gosh, what was that? This does not ring a bell.
Winter's Edge?
Mm-hmm.
Was that a Sandman story or what was it?
It was, let me see, I think it was part of the anthologies for Neil Gaiman. He did a small project, Winter Edge, for I think in '98. You were the inker on that. So
do you know the
penciler? The penciler? Let me pull it. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it.
I'm sorry, I'm running a blank. I've done so much work, and some of the more obscure stuff, it just kind of slips through.
Just to warn you, Art, Denali is our robot encyclopedia, by the way.
Oh my gosh, he's my favorite person because he actually
John Bolton. Let's see.
I did not ink John Bolton. That would have been cool though.
No, that was Collaborator. Let's see.
Denali actually bought a Chrono Mechanics book, so he's my favorite guy right now.
Yes, I did. It's stuck somewhere in my attic because I have too little space for it.
Real quick, I'm gonna have to go because of the storm, but I wanted to announce the big fundraiser thing that we got. I got another raffle prize.
Yeah, go ahead, Pope.
The little Killer Frost bombshell statue.
Yeah, that is
I'm
cool.
so sorry that I have to leave early.
It's so
I was not
cute.
expecting. Yeah. Just check out the Comics Titans fundraiser page. I am so sorry that I have to leave. It's just the storm is getting a little worse than
Well,
I.
are you safe? Are you safe?
Yeah, I'm safe. It's just I probably need to unplug everything.
Okay. Okay. Well, be safe.
So yeah, I am so sorry for leaving, guys.
Well, that's okay.
The Killer Frost
tell us-
bombshell statue will be bundled in with our big D&D book. Just donate to the fundraiser and you can be put in for the raffle.
How much have you raised so far?
We've raised, I think, $220 so far, and we've bought 2 comic books and we're about to buy 2 more pretty soon. Right, so I'm so
Awesome.
sorry for having to leave, guys.
Oh, no problem. I'll talk
talk to
about
you
it
guys
more
later.
later, Pope.
No
It's okay.
problem. It was Warren Police that was on the book.
Oh my gosh, I am sorry. Okay, we got to do another question real quick. I can't answer that. Okay, I'll just say it was amazing. It was an
There
It
you
amazing.
go.
looks. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like a Vertigo holiday special of some kind. Art.
Okay, yeah. Without seeing visuals, I don't really remember.
Holiday specials. I do recall in Art Thibert swimsuit edition. That was pretty good.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
A couple of them.
remember
I think I had the fold out, or what do they call it? The centerfold.
Yeah.
What character was it?
I think it was Psylocke. I think she was in. I think the theme was. Oh gosh, what do they call it? Where Rogue goes, where they have the dinosaurs. What the heck is that called?
Oh,
Savage Land.
Savage
Of
Land,
course.
Okay.
Nice.
So then I'll make a more known project that we've done. How about Future Days Present? I think you were the inker on that one, correct? For that run.
Oh my gosh, you're going obscure on me.
That
He just
was
wants to,
90s.
he just wants
It
to
wasn't
impress
more-
you in front of everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I'm
that-
just gonna. You know what? It was an amazing time. Everybody around was bringing their A game. I'll just be like one of those sports guys that just said the same thing every press release. We were all there. We were bringing our A game, and
The competition was good. Everything was great.
yeah,
That's
everything was
great.
great.
120%. 120%.
Oh, that's right. You got to always say
Right.
120%. Yeah, yeah.
So-
I didn't phone it in, Denelli. It was 120%.
Are you gonna make another Chrono Mechanics then?
Oh, there's a question I can answer. Yeah, you know what? If well, I'm going to say if and when, I should say more when, the black and white, goes crazy and we make $1 bazillion off of it. Yeah, Taylor and I have been talking about future projects, and one of the things we would like to do is dust off some Chrono Mechanics and bring those back to Indiegogo and bring them to a new audience, a new audience like you guys, Comicsgate, that type of thing. Yeah.
Well, Chrono Mechanics actually sounds familiar to me for some reason. I'm not sure why, but maybe I might have seen it. When did that come out?
We did it originally. Was it
2004.
Okay, I was just gonna say Denali probably knows. Yeah, so that was the Image book, right? So we did an Image 48-page graphic novel in black and white, and then I think maybe later that year or the next year, our buddy Mike S. Miller had a publishing company called Alias. And so I had done another graphic novel, Chrono Mechanics graphic novel, and Image said they would publish it, but they weren't really into it. They were kind of discouraging me from publishing it. I think they just thought the sales weren't going to be that strong. So I remember at a con I was telling Mike the story, and Mike goes, "Well, just bring it over to Alias. We'll publish it." So then we had a little revival there, where we put out the original 2 as 2 issues. Well, let me back up. It was 48 pages, so we split that into 2. And then the second 48 pages we split into 2. So then what we called it was the Precious Metal Collection. So there was like gold, silver, bronze, whatever kind of thing. So we put out 4 books through Alias. And then we did a Kickstarter for a trade a couple years ago.
And I have
that's
that
cool.
page. And I have that page up if you guys want to see it.
So
It was
there's
2006 for that one, second one, right?
Okay, so it was a couple years later. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
This is the connection to Mike Miller too. I see. All right. Let's go back over the chat and see what's happening over here. I see that Sierra Whiskey is very, very excited about finding. He's furiously googling a Psylocke swimsuit right now.
So,
I found it for him.
Pixel Trader helped him out. Yeah, there you go. We actually
cool.
have a question here from Adrian. Adrian says, "That's a question for you, Art. What artists were Art's biggest influences? And Taylor, what writers are your influences?" So we got a question here for Taylor. So why don't you go ahead and answer first, please?
Oh gosh. I know two writers that I really enjoy, and that was Art and Pamela Thibert, who originally wrote the first black and white comic.
Who?
Oh,
The Dream Team.
The check is in the mail, Taylor. The check is in the mail.
Bringing your A game, 120%.
there you
Yeah.
go.
So who else? You can answer. You can answer seriously.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
That was partially serious. I
Okay.
also liked I like Jaime Hernandez as far as comic writing goes with the Love and Rocket series. That is my probably my favorite comic series, and the writing is very very natural, almost feels autobiographical in a way, even though that seems like an impossibility. And that would probably be one of my biggest influences besides the T-Bears.
That's interesting. I think some of us are maybe a little more classical, but that was some good writing coming out of that. So, what about you, Art? What's your answer to Adrian's question about your biggest artistic influences? And please don't say Perez, because everybody says Perez.
It was George Perez. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You set me up for that one. In the early days when I was a kid, it was definitely Neil Adams and Dick Giordano. Like I said, I'm an older guy. And so I was fortunate enough when I went to work at DC Comics that Dick Giordano was editor-in-chief. So he used to call me, my boy, get in here, my boy. And so he would tell me stories, and he definitely kind of mentored me in the early days. So that was very cool, and it was a major dream come true. So my early influences were those two guys. And then as I started expanding, I would say it's just about, I don't know, everybody in the industry. So I love Barry Windsor Smith. Later, like Kevin Nolan, John Byrne. I'm all over the place. And I think it also, because I'm all over the place, that's why I think I've had the longevity as far as being an inker, because you have to be somewhat of a chameleon. So I'm a fan of all kinds of styles. So, and maybe that's why, maybe I should pick a style and start penciling that style, because when I draw and things, I'm always constantly changing styles. So if you look at Chrono Mechanics, you probably wouldn't think that's the same guy that drew black and white. So I'm constantly changing and trying to reinvent myself. So I would just say everybody that's currently working in comics right now. One of my biggest influences right now is that Olivier Copiel or Coppel. I don't know how to say his name.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think that guy's doing some great work.
One of the best in the business right now.
Yeah.
I'm really glad this community introduced me to Kanan White as well. I mean, I'm just shocked at the level of that guy.
That guy's a beast. I can't believe he wasn't grabbed by one of the big two ages ago.
Oh, I know. And just on those.
Give him ideas.
I think what's great about this community is we're shaking things up, that talents is actually being showcased. And one of the things I talk about in our streams is, if we don't like what we are receiving, we're going to look for it, and we're going to promote it, or we're going to do it ourselves. Like Antonio Bryce with Brand, Antonio with
Kanan White.
Kanan White, but I was talking about the other Antonio who does Detective Debt. He was on Art Critias, earlier in this chat, promoting his, I think, 144-page graphic novel.
Yeah, he's a writing beast. Like that is really ambitious.
It's almost a revival, you could say.
Yeah. Well, it is an indie renaissance, if I may say. But let's move on to another question, though. I gave you some extra time, Thundaro, seeing as that Booster stole your question. So go ahead and ask a new one, sir.
Hello, Mr. Art Thibert. How are we tonight?
Hey, Thundaro. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm well. That's not my question, though. That'd be nice if it was that easy. My my actual question is kind of outside of the comic world because that's kind of where I'm from. And we've been watching for years now as, the far left keeps infiltrating more and more entertainment fields and destroying them. Where do you think, from your perspective as a legend of so long, where do you think entertainment's going? Do you think this trend is going to keep going, or do you think it's almost out of steam?
Oh gosh.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. This is how I think about about everything is until there's pushback, there's always going to be something's going to always run amok until there's pushback. And enough pushback where the other side has to respect you. Sometimes it has to get pretty bloody before the other side respects you. Sometimes there's respect granted just because it becomes undeniable. Like, let's just say we're all starting to sell 600,000 600K versus or amount of books. I'm sorry, I always stagger when I try to think of how much money that is. It's insane. But like 600K or 700K for
That's
one
crazy.
book. Yeah, so if you start doing that, then there doesn't have to be any bloodshed, right? That's the pushback. The pushback is the success. So I'm hoping that as far as the pushback will just be our success. So if we can keep going and we can get these numbers, then mainstream people or people that might be on the fence, because Ethan told me years ago at a convention, I don't know how he knew, because I never really talked politics or anything with him, but he told me, he said, Art, there's more of us than there are of them. They're just not vocal about it. They just don't say anything because, like you said, the liberal media is definitely more vocal. They have more avenues, they have more arenas and areas that they can say these things. And so then, the minority doesn't really, except for stuff like this, maybe gets a voice. So I would probably say in a really diplomatic way that until there's pushback, I think it'll just keep going.
Well, yeah. The reason I asked that question is because I think that's what Comicsgate is. I think that's the main reason I'm here, and it's because we have to push back somewhere. And comics are probably the most pivotal American institution when it comes to entertainment. They're one of the oldest. They've been around the longest, and there's nothing that's infected popular culture more than them.
Yeah, here. I agree.
They're destroying them. Just period. There's no question. That's what they're doing. And it has to be saved. And I think Comicsgate is hopefully what's going to help save it. I don't think we're going to do it alone. I think as soon as somebody hits that $1 million comic, that's going to change everything.
Yep.
The whole industry is going to change real fast because they're going to have to listen. Like you said, we're going to be undeniable. They're going to have to listen.
But Thundaro, they're trying to create a lifestyle brand, man.
What is that? I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let me jump back over here to the.
Can I just wrap up real quick? I just want to wrap up real quick. I just want to say, like, the pushback has to come from our talent, from our hearts, from our projects that we're bringing. Like, I don't want any, the nastiness and stuff like that. I just don't want, because that's not the way I want this thing. I don't want the pendulum to be swung back in any kind of aggression or any kind of like ill feelings. Like, I would like to win over hearts. I would like to, have great books that inspire people or dollar figures that inspire people. That type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right, so let's jump over here to chat and see if we got some more comments on Sierra Whiskey again. He says he would like to ask, well, I'm going to ask this question, but I want to make a mention from Dr. White first. Dr. White says, yeah, Ethan snatched up Kanan real fast. Yeah, well, he's a smart man. But Sierra Whiskey asks, would you ask Art how nervous he is about next week's Drawn and Quartered? And it's interesting, before you answer that, because DeWolf had mentioned that we're finding a lot of artists that are coming from out of the woodwork, as it were. And a good mention of that is last week's Drawn and Quartered, which is a great show. If you guys haven't seen that on Mike Miller's channel, go check that out. But we had actually, I do the helping out with the fan edition of that, which is Pixel Trader's creation, and John Dillard won, and then he came over and he won the pro one, and that's just goes to show you. Never heard of John before, but what a great artist. So how nervous are you, Mr. Thibert?
I must admit, like the first one when I did the Rogue. I was kind of part of it before, but I didn't draw. Like I just drew beside them, but I didn't compete. But 2 weeks ago when we did the Rogue drawing, I was really nervous. Like those guys are all really great artists. And so just to sit and have 2 hours just to create nonstop and then try to entertain people and talk smack at the same time. I had never done anything like this, but I must admit, as soon as these guys are all great guys, like just hanging out with you guys as well. I mean, once you start talking and start hanging out, then it doesn't seem like you're not scared anymore. You're not intimidated, even though they're trying to intimidate you. But you just start having a good time, and so I think that's what I like about it is to have a good time. And then when like this week when we had Starfire. It was just fun. I wasn't that scared or anything. Yeah.
I think you were robbed personally.
Oh, I do too. I said the same thing.
I have a feeling it might have had something to do with the taco comments. Actually, I'm pretty sure.
Done in by the sports.
So you did Lobo versus Superman, or part of it anyway, back in 2003, according to the list here. So Lobo apparently is the character you're going to be drawing this week. If you're part of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So the good thing is I can prepare. I don't have to go downstairs and print out.
Have you seen the new Lobo that they released for the sci-fi Krypton image?
I saw a small little image. It looked decent. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they look good. Yeah.
I think you skipped arm day.
Yeah, I just saw it. It looked like it was from like the chest up. So but it looked like he was built like he was a big guy.
You talk about that
Krypton. I think it's about this.
Yeah.
Sci-fi
it looked
Krypton.
really good. If you're a junior high school kid trying to go to a Halloween costume, I thought it was amazing.
Oh my gosh!
Now I gotta relook at it.
Yeah.
Enough said. Well, now we have a versus, don't we, Taylor?
Oh yeah, totally. Thanks, you guys.
There you go. No, that's really cool. But we certainly one of the things I thought was interesting about the last Drawn and Quartered, I put together a straw poll and I put together all these funny little nicknames, and no one mentioned it. I felt dejected.
I saw them. I saw you put Gary as headshot. It was very clever.
It was.
It was.
I had Art Don't Eat Tacos Thibert.
I think what's a little but what's also funny was Ethan was talking his morning stream that he's like, I want Drawn and Quarters on Wednesday. I want to get on there.
he can come join the fan edition in disguise. How about that?
Well, yesterday it sounded like he was trying to steal the idea, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, so you guys are currently sitting at 22,129, and you've got a couple of really nice stretch goals coming up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the book and?
Well, we do have one more question before we move on to that.
Sorry.
One
Well,
question.
I just have to interject. We're gonna. Taylor's got a dinner at 6, so we're just gonna have to take off a little bit before 6, if that's okay with you guys.
No problem. So let's get that last question in real quick. Go ahead, Mr. DeWolf.
Wait, hold on. Where's Quasar in the list? Oh, never mind.
He's not in the list. I'm sorry.
So
Yet.
I'm gonna step back, a moment in the concept of fandom and say that I'm hearing terms such as inker and penciler and stuff like that. And since you're here and you're renowned for your inking, what exactly is that process to take from the penciler or the inking, and what do you specifically add as an inker to that process?
It varies from project to project. Some pencilers, I'm just kind of going over the line, trying to do it justice, and some pencilers I interject a lot of my personality or style into. So it really varies. I kind of when I'm inking people, I try to stay open because, like I said, I study styles and I know a lot of comic book styles. So I have those kind of in the back of my brain always. So when I get some pencils, I already know what school they're from. Like this is a Neil Adams school, or this is like John Byrne school, or something like that. So I already know kind of where they're going with the pencils, and sometimes I'll play against that. Like when I inked Victor Bogdanovich, he was definitely going for a Grey Capullo look, but I was I kind of get perverse sometimes, and I think like Grey Capullo already exists. Why do we need a clone? So then I'll ink him instinctively completely different than even sometimes the pencils are. You know what I mean? Just so people don't automatically go, oh, well, that's just a Grey Capullo,
Yeah.
or Art Thibert's trying to do this other inker or whatever it is like that, to try to have an original voice, for at least that project. So it really does range from penciler to penciler, and also it depends on how much support I have from that penciler, because some pencilers will let you do just run free with things. Like when I worked with, also I was doing finishes on it, but Dan Jurgens on Superman, on Adventures of Superman, it was like you could do whatever you want, So when you have that kind of support from a penciler, then you can actually push the envelope and try new things, which is what I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I hope that answers, the question.
Sure did, yeah.
Thanks.
All right, well, go ahead, Pixel, and continue what you're doing, man.
Yeah, no worries. So I just mentioned how much they were at now, and they just crossed that 22K goal. I know they've got the mini print coming up at 25, but I heard in your stream earlier today, you guys are really, really hoping for that 30K stretch goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just for the people that may not know too much about the story and stuff yet, do you want to kind of give your elevator pitch on the book and what you're doing with it?
Well, since I'm doing a lot of talking, I'm getting a little hoarse here. I'm going to let Taylor do some of the heavy lifting here.
Sorry about that. I was clearing my throat. Oh, yes. Black and White is the story of an ex-spy who kind of trying to leave his past behind him and lead a less violent life. But he falls in love with this troubled woman and ends up kind of getting sucked back into the game and inadvertently as a vigilante. And it's set in sort of a kind of a neo-noir sci-fi like world. There's lots of robots in like their daily life, and it's set in China, and it's kind of a different setting than most spy stories are told, but it's kind of a spy vigilante. I want to say a superhero story, but really, it's this volume is a kind of a personal origin story.
And for the just as a clarifier, that what happens is Reed does fall in love with the brewery heiress, but then he soon finds out that she's really not a damsel in distress. Like, this girl is able to take care of herself, but that she just needs to be kind of like guided to do the right thing, but she has the abilities to, to fight and to do these superheroics.
Yeah, Black and White is kind of about the line that's blurred between justice and vengeance.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way, and that's why the Black and White name is there, because it's not just their code names or their their uniforms. It's actually kind of the morality. So I know I said I wasn't going to talk, but Taylor, go ahead and say the tagline. I couldn't resist.
I'll try to do the Edmund Boyette cadence.
Yes, please.
In a world where law and order are often blurred to gray, justice can only be black and white.
Dun dun dun.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
And if you guys haven't checked it out, we actually have recorded Edwin saying that, and there's a video that exists somewhere on YouTube, on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
How
Taylor.
about I put my swear jar money towards it?
Oh, cool.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being. We know you guys have to go. I cannot express how exciting it has been to be able to sit here for an hour and talk to Art Thibert. It is amazing. I have had read many books with your art in it, man. It's just.